Alright, and moving on with our testing of the Ninja Woodfire XL, today we're doing perhaps what some people might consider the most exciting, the most want to try out function on the Ninja. We're going to be smoking a piece of end point brisket. Now we've just given this a very simple Dijon mustard binder with some SPG. We're going to be using the thermometer and we're just going to follow what the Ninja tells us to do. Obviously all my instincts will be I want to pull it, I want to wrap it, I want to tinfoil boat it, all those things. I want to spritz it. I'm not going to do that unless the Ninja tells me to do it. I'm just going to follow its instructions and see what the end product is like. We've got some of Ninja's own robust blend pellets ready to go. So let's get over and test this out.
And we're wrapping this in foil here rather than the usual butcher's paper or greaseproof paper as I sometimes use, because I want to give this brisket every single chance I possibly can at staying tender and moist.
Okay, so that's our brisket smoked, wrapped and rested for a couple of hours. Full disclosure, I have not got a lot of hope for this brisket, if I'm honest. The first reason being is that when I stuck the probe in, I was given the option of chicken or pork or beef. Now, as you'll know if you're a regular here at the Pit Wizard Smoke Shack, all beef is not the same. And the Ninja doesn't give you any option to delineate your choice of beef. It's just beef and that's it when you use the probe. So I thought, okay, well, I want to cook it for the longest time, so we'll go for well done. Its interpretation of well done is to cook it to about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if we were to pull the brisket at that temperature, as you probably well know, that's going to be like eating shoes. So what we had to do was let it get to that temperature, and then we used our meter to probe it and run it on a manual setting, and then it took another 2.5 hours to get from 150 to actually about 203. So I would say if this has turned out well, I will eat my hat, but I'm not going to say that because I've got a feeling that this taste test experience is going to be rather similar to eating my hat anyway. So let's give it a try. I'm not going to lie, on first appearance it looks okay. It smells pretty good. I think that pellet blend that Ninja have got in their two different types of pellets actually really nail that smoky flavour. But obviously the truth is going to be in the tenderness and the taste. It's got a reasonable bark on it. If it's tender underneath that, then maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so two things I spot there. Not much of a smoke ring, but given the short amount of time it was in there, that's no surprise. And that does look, I don't think overcooked's the right word, but it looks like it's going to be tough. Cheers. So, good flavour. I've got to give it credit there. That has got some really nice smoky flavour. Despite the absence of the smoke ring, you still get a decent amount of smoke. It has got that kind of pellet smoke flavour, which just isn't the same in my opinion as when you use proper splits. But you know, maybe I'm just being picky. It's definitely a different sort of smoke, but still definitely there and still definitely very nice. The texture, it's not so much tough as it is kind of a little bit firm. It's not got as much give as I would like from a brisket. Think this is down to two things. The first being the one I've already mentioned, that just don't use the probe and the beef function. you have to use the smoker manually on the Ninja. That seems to be my lesson from this. I'm surprised it doesn't stop you from using the probe, prevent you from taking this step, but there you go, lesson learned. So we are going to do another smoke on the Ninja to give it a fairer test. However, I don't have a huge amount of hope for that one either. And the reason being is when I put my meter probe in to finish off this brisket, I did notice that I had set, as I said, the temperature to be about 230, I think I set it to. And it initially went to 280, I think, and it stuck around there for about 10 minutes, and then it dropped to about 250, and then for that 2.5 hour period it just danced between 250 and 280. And I know my meter is accurate, it's accurate within about 2 degrees, give or take, which I'm happy with that. But when you're talking 30 to 50 degrees above what you've set the temperature to, it's not really any wonder that you're going to get results that are less than satisfactory, I would say. But Ninja has a chance of redemption. We're going to get another brisket, we'll try and get hold of a point, and we're going to cook that manually this time for the full duration. But most importantly, we'll see if using that manual smoke function gets us a better result on the smoked brisket. So, we've got another piece of brisket, about 4 pounds. We're going to pop that on the smoker. We're going to monitor it ourselves. We're going to put it on about 110 Celsius, which should be about 230 Fahrenheit, I think. We're going to monitor it using the Inkbird probes, which I find to be super accurate. And once we get to that 195, we're going to start probing for tenderness. Once we hit that toothpick tender, we're going to pull it, and hopefully we'll now be shown that the Ninja can smoke and hold its own, maybe even amongst the big guys, maybe amongst the Webbers and the Masterbuilts of the world. Who knows? Let's find out. Let's make it a fair test. Let's smoke some brisket.
And we've got a point end flat here, which I'm just unrolling now, and I'm going to give it a bit of a trim. It's not from my usual butcher, so I'm just going to remove some of that hard fat and some of that sinewy stuff that can make your brisket tough. And going on now, perhaps a little bit prematurely, with our mustard binder, because as you'll see, there's still plenty more of that fat and sinew to remove. Now we're just pushing in our meter plus to keep temperature. And this little bit of snacking brisket came off in the trim, so let's add him as well. And crucially this time, we are not using the Ninja's probe. We are selecting the Woodfire technology, so we get that lovely smoke, setting it to 110 Celsius, which is about 230 Fahrenheit, and then we're just going to smoke away until we know she's done. And we're reading here between 202 and 209 depending on where we probe, but more importantly we are probe tender. And we wrapped with butter last time, we're wrapping with tallow this time simply because we didn't have any tallow last time. But in terms of tenderness, tallow and butter should give roughly the same results.
Okay, so that's taken about 5 hours in the smoker, so for a £4 pre-trim, so probably about £3 after the trim, that's pretty good I think. 4 or 5 hours is probably what I'd expect at 230. I did set it to 230, but actually this cook tonight has proved again the Ninja does run hot. I used my meter probe to monitor the temperature to make sure everything was running smoothly, and it was running at a constant 250-ish, which, you know, I'm not mad about that. That's fine for smoking a brisket, but if you really want precise temperature control, maybe the Ninja's not quite your guy. But, you know, for me, smoking this brisket tonight, no complaints. I can also tell already by the smell, by the feel, by, you know, if you've cooked a brisket before, you know what you're looking for. This is good. This is much better than the previous attempt. I do think the previous attempt was subject to user error. So, enough chat. Let's get this out. Let's give it a taste. Probably can't see this on camera. There is some movement to this, which is a good sign. There's some flexibility as well. This bark. So I apologise about the low lighting here. Right, so I'm going to use my Dow Strong just to slice this. So that's cutting really well. Much better than our previous attempt on the Ninja. Now, before I reveal, as it were, we're not expecting a smoke ring on this. This is obviously effectively a pellet smoker. It's been in for 4 or 5 hours. You're not really going to get a smoke ring, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. I think we're just going to have a lovely, beautifully cooked piece of brisket. Okay, so assumption confirmed.
Looks quite moist.
Not a problem though. Just show you what we're dealing with here.
It's very moist.
Looks lovely and moist. I have got no complaints about the way this guy looks. Look at that.
It's not overcooked either.
It's definitely not overcooked. As far as I can see, that is looking like an almost perfectly cooked piece of brisket. It's, I think, the absolute best you can ask for without using a charcoal smoker. It's looking good. But let's take a slide. So we've got quite a big piece here. So what we're supposed to do here is this. I'm just going to turn that around as well, so you can see the bark. So you can see that is the kind of bend you want from any brisket, really. That's a pretty thick piece that I've cut, to be fair, and that is the exact. That's what you're looking for. It's not breaking, but it is giving. I've got to say, I am very happy with. Very happy with. Compare that to what we had last time. That's a result. So again, I reiterate, our first attempt, our fail, was, in my opinion, down to our own error. So just going to cut this here. Cheers. Okay, so off camera here, Mrs. Wizard has just confirmed she's eaten the flob, which you and I would understand as the fat. The reason she's done that is because it's insanely delicious. This is an insanely delicious brisket. I'm really impressed. What we've got here is a beautiful bark, a really, really good bark, contrasted by a really, really delicate, soft, juicy meat, which is exactly what you want. If I had a criticism, yeah, there's not a ton of smoke flavour. It's there, you can feel it and you can taste it more in the bark than anywhere else. It's not resonant throughout. It's not what you're going to get from a charcoal smoker, certainly. But that said, if you want a tasty, juicy brisket, this is good, and it's a lot easier arguably than using a charcoal smoker. In terms of brisket, of course I can't give it a 10 out of 10. It's, you know, it's not up there with something you could achieve on a charcoal smoker. Am I going to compare it to what you can do on a charcoal smoker, or should I compare it to my expectation of an electric smoker? I'm going to have to think about that. I'm not going to give you an answer to that right now, but believe me when I say, yeah, our first one was a fail because we were stupid. This is far from a fail. This is absolutely delicious, and I highly recommend giving it a try yourself if you've got access to the Ninja Woodfire or any other electric smoker. That's going to do us for the brisket test on the Ninja and the smoke function test on the Ninja. So thank you very much for watching. My name's Billy Buick. This is the Pitmaster Smoke Shack, and if you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like, share it far and wide, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss another one of these videos, particularly in the series that we're doing at the moment, which is all about reviewing the Ninja Woodfire. We're also all over social media. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, find us on TikTok. We're now on X as well. And if you're interested in any of our recipes or any of our methods, anything like that, all of them have been detailed on our Substack. So thanks again for watching. We hope you feel this has been a fair test of the Ninja smoke function. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time. That's it. And then just confirm that's rolling, please.
Doing it.
Cool, thank you, babe. Right, now what the f*** am I talking about? Right.